It's week 3 of our Back to School Artist Series, and today we're talking about Piet Mondrian and making sketchbooks inspired by him. Piet Mondrian was a Dutch artist who became famous for his bold geometric designs. He loved using straight black lines, rectangles, and just a few colors, especially red, blue, and yellow. He believed that simple lines, shapes, and colors could work together to create balance and harmony. So today, we're going to take inspiration from his famous style and make our own sketchbooks inspired by him. This is an example of Piet Mondrian's work. And this is an example that we're modeling our art off of today. For today's project, you're going to need a piece of paper, a red, yellow, and blue marker, a Sharpie, a pencil, and a ruler. For today's project, we're going to draw the entire thing, but if that's not a step you want to take, we have a blank sketchbook that's already drawn, or we have one that's already, the design is already set and you just have to color it in. Every day of creativity looks different, so you choose the option that works best for you today. So now that we know what we're making and what we need, let's skip to the good part and make some art. For today's project, if you are drawing your notebook, you're going to need your blank piece of paper, and we're going to start with our ruler, and we're going to draw a large rectangle on our paper. We don't want our rectangle to go all the way out to the edge, so you need to leave some room so we can draw our pages in at the top and the side of our notebook. Now that we have our rectangle, we're going to draw some lines here in the corners to make our notebook look 3D, like we can see the pages that are in it. So starting at the bottom corner, we're going to draw a short little line in an upward kind of angled direction toward the edge of our paper like this. Just like that. We're going to do the same thing up here. Approximately the same length, same direction, and then one in this corner. So you don't have to measure, they don't have to be perfect. It's just kind of eyeball it. And then you're going to take those corners and you're going to connect them with your ruler. We're going to connect the top to the bottom and across the top. And if your lines were a little bit long, one is too long, then you can just erase that. Like mine was just a tiny bit too long. No big deal. Okay, so now we have the general shape of our notebook. So we're going to take our ruler, and in our little space right here, we're going to draw in some lines to show the pages of our notebook. And these do not have to be perfect. You don't have to measure them. You're just giving the illusion that there's pages in there. So mine ended up with about 3 lines, and I'm going to do the same thing across the top. Using my ruler and just drawing in my pages. I'm trying to draw one in this extra space. Perfect. Now in this top kind of section of our notebook here, I'm going to draw what will be the label for our notebook. So again, I'm not measuring. I'm just using my best guess and trying to get it centered in my notebook, my little section for a label. Okay, if you're using our printable, we are now at the same spot, except we need to outline ours in black, but we have the same notebook drawn. So I'm going to take my Sharpie and I'm going to trace all of these lines, and we'll be right back. My Sharpie does not have a super fine tip, so I'm going to use a different marker to do my pages. You can use a colored pencil or a black marker, a black pen, anything that has a fine tip. If you have a fine tip Sharpie, that would work. Just use whatever you've got to make those little lines on your pages. Okay, you can't really see it on camera, but I'm going to take my pencil and quickly erase all of my pencil lines that are still showing. Now we're ready to move to the next step, which will be drawing in all of our rectangles. So again, getting our ruler, you get to decide where you want your rectangles to go. Keeping in mind, kind of like last week, whatever line we draw, we're going to stop and not cross over our label. So it looks like our label is on top of our design. So don't draw your lines across your label. You can go in straight with your Sharpie if you'd like, or you can use your pencil and start adding all of your rectangles or squares. So it can feel kind of intimidating to decide what you want to put where. So my suggestion is just start anywhere. Start drawing some lines. And then as you go, you'll kind of see where you need more. So I'm going to use the width of my ruler to kind of help me make some shapes. And so you just kind of can see where you want to go from there. So like I'm going to use the half of my ruler width and draw another little rectangle right here. And then I'm going to split this long one in half. So take your time, be creative. That was not a straight line. I need to fix that. And fill in your notebook with all of your lines. Keep in mind as you draw your rectangles and squares that the more you draw, the more you'll have to color. So if you don't want to have to color a lot of them in, you can keep it simpler. If you like it being super patterned and designed, then by all means go crazy and draw as many as you like. I'm trying to go for a medium vibe. Okay, I think I like that. I'm now going to take my Sharpie and I'm going to thicken up my line on the edge here, and I'm going to trace over all of my lines that I just drew in pencil. Now that I have all of my lines drawn comes the fun part. So keeping in mind that this is my label and I don't want to color this in, I'm going to take my time and fill in some squares black, leave some white, and then color the rest red, blue, and yellow. I'm going to do my best not to have any two colors next to each other. So I don't want two reds next to each other or two blues next to each other. So you can see in my example, there aren't the same colors not next to each other. And there's plenty of white space left, and then some squares are black. So I'm going to do those first with my Sharpie. And again, it can be kind of hard to decide, like, what do I do where? So I'm just going to start and then see what I think looks good. So I think I want this one right here to be black. So I'm going to color that in black. And I want to do this little tiny one black. And that's also going to help me remember that this is my label and I don't want to color this in. So I think I'm going to do this one black. And maybe this one. And this one over here. And maybe this one in the, or maybe, no, this one matches this one. Okay, I'm going to color these in, and then I'm going to stop with the black because I can always come back to it. Okay, now that I have my black squares done, I'm going to jump in with the color, and same thing. I'm just going to look at it and decide where I think that color might look good and just play with it. So I think this one stood out to me first. I'm going to color this one in red. And I think I'm going to make this one red. And as always, these are just my Crayola Super Tips. These are my tried and true markers. I use them all the time. These are the markers my kids use in our homeschool. Highly recommend. Okay, I think that's a good start for red. I'm gonna go in with my blue and start picking some more shapes. This one stood out to me first, so I'm gonna start over here. And I'm gonna do this big one over here. I think I wanna do one of these long skinny ones blue and one yellow. I think I changed my mind because I want this one yellow and I want this to be yellow. And so I don't want a big white space right here. Part of me wants to keep going. Part of me wants to color in more, but the other part of me also thinks that it's done. I think the only thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add in red right here just so there's not all this white next to each other. But I think that's gonna be it. I think that's gonna be my final square. If you know me in real life, you know that my motto is always more is more. But I'm gonna channel Piet here and I'm gonna call it done. And I'm happy with it. So now you can leave your label blank. You can label it sketchbook or anything that you would like. Here's another one that I did where I did label it sketchbook. I think for this one, I'm gonna leave it plain. So what do you think? Are you the type of person that clean, distinct lines makes your heart really happy? Or do you prefer more free-flowing wild art? I'd love to know in the comments. I'll see you next week when we draw with scissors.